Hey guys, it's MHA Universal and welcome back to What If Deku Had Atom Manipulation. Now, before I get into the video, I want to give some thanks to those who commented on my last video. Um Most in particular, I want to thank Chris Walker um for the comment saying that a flashback would help in explaining, and yeah. But those of you who commented on my last video, you know who you are. Um, I want to thank you for supporting my videos. Yeah. Anyway, rather than do a flashback like Chris Walker said, I'm simply going to explain how he trained and also how he learned that it was the atoms he was manipulating and not just some form of telekinesis or other type of ability. The way he learned that it was atoms that he was manipulating and not just him being able to move things was how he found out was basically how he found out he had a quirk. When, we'll just say for simplicity's sake, when his mother uh, bumped something off the table before it hit the ground, he went to catch it, and instead of it just floating in the air like if he had telekinesis or his mother's quirk, it would it was it it shattered um against the air, and then the rest of it, and then it fell to the ground. So that's how he found out how basically he learned that it was the atoms that he was manipulating and not just telekinesis. And as for explaining how he trained, it was mainly meditation, and also the another way he trained was, well, the meditation was to increase his range and focus, and another way he trained was how far he could condense the atoms together, which did lead to him discovering another ability of his, which you'll learn later this episode. So, or not this episode, this video. And since it's already been 3 minutes and all I've been doing is explaining his quirk, let's get into the video. So last time we left off on Deku getting accepted into UA. When he got it, when he went to UA for the first day, he ended up going to 1A like in the anime, as well as going to or not going to anywhere, but as well as seeing his classmate Bakugo in the room along with the blue-haired boy who he had basically silenced in the during the entrance exam. Deku just went and sat in his seat. He didn't even pay. He didn't even act like he paid any mind toward Bakugo or Ida until Ida came over and said, you basically said what he said in the anime, saying how Deku was the superior student and that and that he saw the true goal of the test, or the true nature of the test. And Deku just said or was going to say something, but then Uraraka showed up and he said, "Hey, it's you." Talking toward Deku, or talking to Deku, and Deku's like, "Oh, hi, Uraraka, wasn't it?" And he goes to shake her hand. She's like, "Yeah, thank you for saving me." And Deku said, "It wasn't a problem at all." After that, after the those introductions were given, Aizawa showed up behind them and was like, if you're here to only make friends, then you can just leave. We have 3 years to mold you into heroes. There's no there's no point in just making friends. Now put on these uniforms and head out to the training field. And then everyone was wondering who he was. Even and like I can't remember if I said this before, but Deku is still kind of a hero fanboy. He's just not on the same degree as he was in the anime. So, Deku went out in or was the first one out, as he just had listened to Aizawa without any questions. And Deku and then the rest of the class joined him outside. When everyone got outside, Aizawa tossed Deku a ball and said, "Okay, okay, Midoriya, you got first in the entrance exam. You you what was your furthest softball throw in middle school?" And Deku would say, "About 26 meters, I think." And then Aizawa would say, "Well, well then throw the ball this time using your quirk." And Deku said, "All right." And he threw the ball as far as he could, and then used his. Basically, what he did was he threw the ball as high as he could, and then focused on making the air around it condense, and then push it further away as fast as he could until he lost concentration, which caused the ball to land around 536 meters. Aizawa showed this to the class and said, "Well, that," and then said, "Well, we, like I said before, we have 3 years to train you into becoming fully fledged heroes. And so we don't have time to squander it on things like orientation." When Mina and Kaminari said that it was going to be fun, it ticked off Aizawa, so to he decided to push them a little bit and say, "So it's going to be fun, huh? How about this? You the person in last place will be expelled." When everyone heard this, they started freaking out. And Izuku had had hadn't thought that Aizawa would expel anyone on the first day, but he could sense that Aizawa was serious when he had said this. Aizawa, then the tests kind of went like normal. And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Who, other than Deku or Bakugo, should get one for all? Because I know, because while yes, Deku would be the most viable candidate, he would say no to one for all. Simply for the fact that Deku wants to his prove that he doesn't need to use other people's, he doesn't want to take handouts in order to reach the top. He wants to reach the top on his own. So yeah, that's my question for you. So Deku, when the results come back, the only difference is Deku's results, and the only reason he got different results, or got much larger results, was because he was manipulating the atoms in the air, which caused, like, where he was able to put more strength in the grip test. He was able to basically, he didn't even have to jump on the, he didn't have to jump during the long jump. And as far as everything else, the only other thing he would have got done way better on would be the I can't think of it right now, but yeah, he basically, when the results came out, Mineta was at the bottom and Deku was placed 6th overall. And Aizawa said, "Mineta, pack your things, you're going home." And everyone looked sympathetic towards the purple-haired boy, and Yaoyorozu had said, or didn't say anything, but had thought that Aizawa wasn't being serious when he said that he was sending last place home. So the next day rolls around, and Bakugo doesn't confront Deku like he did in the anime, because he knew Deku already had a quirk, so he wasn't too surprised. Then Bakugo then the next day, All Might showed up and said that they were doing mock battles in they were doing mock indoor battles, and the just to keep things simple, we're going to say the teams all remained the same, and all the rounds remained the same. So Bakugo ended up going up against Izuku, like in canon. But this is where Deku went, where Deku would change, or not would change, but would show off his new ability that he learned during his training. He would, when he heard Bakugo coming around the corner, he immediately focused his on his like gauntlets, because he could he couldn't sense so much as he could see that the gauntlets weren't just for show, and he instead of like using his quirk to try and destroy him, what he did was he changed the composition of the materials used on in the gauntlets. So the gauntlets were usually in the anime. The gauntlets were used in heat resistant metal. Were made of heat resistant metals, and now they are made of. Uh, now they're made. Well, yes, they are made of heat resistant metals. They're much heavier because Izuku used the atoms and changed them into tungsten. And I know some of you in the comments are going to be like, but MHA Universal, how can he turn things into how can he turn one um alloy into something that it's not even made of? Well, that's because he's able to manipulate the atoms on a subatomic level by removing and adding electrons and protons from the atoms around it in order to create the desired object or effect that he wants. So after Deku turned Bakugo's gauntlets into tungsten, which is the highest density metal or the highest density um, metal on the periodic table of elements. It also has the highest um, melting point, so Bakugo's explosions won't just be able to like melt through like it did in the Heroes Rising movie when Bakugo gained one for all and just used his explosions to melt a side of a mountain. Anyway, the end result was that the hero team won and went. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this, but Mineta when Mineta was you know how Mineta was paired up in with Yaoyorozu in the original canon. He since he's no longer there, Yaoyorozu was put on a team with Suyu Asui, and I can't remember who her teammate was. And then Deku, or not Deku. Ugh. Sorry about all this. I don't script my videos, and the reason I don't is because I feel like it takes away from the creative liberty of the what if. If you guys want me to start scripting my videos, I'll do so because I just do this for fun. I'm not doing it for monetary gain. I'm not doing it for anything other than just to have a good time. So, when all is said and done, it really doesn't change much from here until the USJ attack. So, everything happens as per normal, with the only difference is Bakugo isn't as upset about the fact that Deku beat him since he already knew that Deku was powerful. And yeah, so that's gonna be that's 20 minutes already, so just leave a comment down below, like who should get one for all, leave, and whether or not I should start scripting my videos, because I do this for you guys for the most part. It's just a way for me to be creative and be able to be part of an amazing community. So, yeah. Anyway, see you guys in the next video and have a good day.